Miami traveling to Clemson. So offensive and defensive players of the game. Get in the chat right now. Let us know what your offensive and defensive players of the game were. I think I have to go with Travis Etienne, 17 carries, 149 yards, 2 touchdowns, 8 catches, 73 yards. By the way, a 72-yard run for touchdown that everybody thought he stepped out of bounds because of the way the camera angle was. But oh no, he was definitely in bounds and just blew by everyone in his Heisman candidate stride. Just love to see that and want to see it every single game. Oh, by the way, he's now the 3rd all-time leading rusher in the ACC. And before this season is over with, barring any issues, he is going to be the leading ACC rusher in history all time. So good job, Travis Etienne.
Yeah, look, I mean, this pick could have gone one of 3 ways, in my opinion. It could go to Trevor Lawrence. It could go to Travis Etienne. It could go to Braden Galloway. I think those are kind of your 3 choices for offensive player of the game. I gave the edge in this game to Lawrence, and simply because of the way he played when it was obvious the defense was out to get him. I mean, he got 2 targeting penalties called against him. It easily could have been like 4 or 5. Okay, they were hitting him hard. They were hitting him often, and some of the shots were a little dirtier than we would like. No doubt about it. Leading with the crown of the helmet, hit him in the helmet, that kind of thing. I just love the fire I saw from Trevor Lawrence. It's something you don't see very often. You don't see him get that heated. You don't see him doing any trash talking, but you saw a little bit of it the other night, and it was awesome to see as he stomped all over him to the victory.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Al on this to a point. I think Trevor. I loved the spike. I loved what he did when he scored that touchdown. I think Braden Galloway played well. I think one person, and I think Casey the Beef Cregan got in on the chat line saying that Davis Allen. If you look at that ETN run, that 72-yarder, Davis Allen obliterated their linebacker. It was beautiful. It was like watching poetry in motion. It was great. But I will have to say, Travis Etienne ultimately does get my offensive player of the game. He looked like a Heisman contender. And to me, when you're 172 yards away from being the ACC rushing leader all time and no one's talking about that, I think it's underappreciated, underrespected. And he's starting to creep into the range where I think he's more deserving of the Heisman. I'm not knocking Trevor. He's doing great. If Trevor wins it, absolutely deserved. But Travis Etienne, man, he's starting to win me over. He's starting to win me over as far as a Heisman winner.
I got to argue with you on that one. I mean, I think that if you're going to finish your year as the all-time leading rusher in the ACC, you got to give me that. I mean, you got to give me that as the Heisman Trophy candidate winner for sure. So, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't pick Travis Etienne, but that's where I'm going. What's up next is the defensive player of the year. I got Balin Spector, 5 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss, all over the place. Dabo Swinney said he's like a clone of James Skalski, and he really was. And one of the posts that we put up on our Facebook page tonight showed that read option that was very early on in the game, where within a split second he moved from the running back to the quarterback and tackled the quarterback straight up and just destroyed him and really set the tone for Clemson and Miami. And, I just really, like I said, I am the most surprised. I think he would be even the surprise defensive player of the year, because I wasn't expecting to be saying his name as much as I am. I think a couple of games ago, or maybe even the last game, he had 15 total tackles. This guy is all over the place, becoming the new star on the defense, and it's great for the Tigers. Great to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Balin Spector had a heck of a game. Morgan and I did a show for the Philly Clemson Club right before the game. It was kind of a pregame type deal. And, I mentioned what Venables might do that night when he's playing nickel coverage. I assumed he would be a 3-3-5 or maybe even a 4-2-5, might take a linebacker off the field. And I told him, I said, hey, if he goes 4-2-5, Balin Spector simply could be the odd man out in that kind of situation with Mike Jones and Skalski on the field. Thank God that wasn't the case. Brent Venables kept 3 linebackers all night, and Balin Spector showed out. It was an awesome game for him. Now, having said that, I think Casey Cregan, and we're giving a lot of love to Casey tonight on the chat line, is all over it. And I'm taking Tyler Davis for player of the game as well on defense. I love the way he clogs the middle. He takes on double teams. It does not matter. He still gets pressure. He's not showing up on the stat sheet because he basically can't. But the way he affects the game for Clemson is unprecedented. Okay, this is a great thing to see. We saw it when he went out at Wake, that we weren't able to get the pressure that we were getting when he went out. We didn't get any pressure against Virginia. He is back, and now we get pressure just like we have been doing, and starting to see this defensive line look like it has been the past few years. So I'm going with Tyler Davis.
All impressive answers. It's very, very impressive. It makes me proud to see it, but I feel like I'm going to have to say the entire Clemson secondary gets it this week. Landon Sanders, he had an improved game. I wouldn't say that he was perfect, but I like the way that Brent Venables used him, almost like a nickel. I saw him blitzing a ton off the edge. So using him as a pass rusher, he seemed to cause a lot of havoc in the backfield, played a decent game. Nolan Turner played great. But the thing that really jumped out to me was our corners are really deep and really good. And it is scary how good both Andrew Booth and Darion Kendrick are. They look impressive. This could be the greatest cornerback tandem we've ever seen at Clemson. And it's just both of them had impressive games. And then on top of that, Sheridan Jones shut out too. Got a critical pick in the end zone. You also had a great game by I think Mario Goodrich had a play or two that he could have done better, but still had a great game. Sure. So I think our secondary, I think Clemson's secondary played impressive, and they deserve player of the game.
I got to go with the Clemson secondary too. I mean, you got to give them a shout out. I mean, we're already seeing in the chat about DK. What an interception. I mean, he's a wide receiver, and we knew it. We knew he was good. Yeah. But wow. I mean, when I saw that, I was like, wow, what great timing, great hands, great baiting. Now, I'll be honest with you. If he would have put some air over that tight end would have been, was like 5 yards behind him. That's only a little bit of a scare. But, DK played it the way he felt like that play was going, and it fit perfect for him. Apologize earlier, Houston. I wasn't laughing at you, but my wife is watching a movie, and it's got her a little bit emotional. It's got her, she's a little bit.
Just kick her while she's down.
Yeah. It's a dog movie, and we're a dog family. We're dog lovers. So, something must have happened to the dog. But again, thank you so much for joining in tonight. We're still talking about Clemson versus Miami, the big domination there. We've talked about offensive player of the game. We talked about defensive player of the game. Got a ton of people in. Sheridan Jones, Davis Allen, Darion Kendrick, Braylon Spector, ETN, Trevor Spike in just in general. One thing that people don't have I got to say this. One thing people don't have on chat is kicking a field goal of 61 yards in the rain right before halftime. Can we just say that after all these years, Dabo has earned a flub up like that? I mean, you can't really be mad at the guy. You really can't be mad at the guy in the sense that he walks off the field so mad at himself. You just got to be like, Coach, I'm with you on that, bro. We were all like, so when they lined up, I said to Audrey, this is going to be Alabama Auburn like 2.0. This is going to be, because it just felt like Clemson did not have a fast enough, special teams unit out there. They're going to kick it. BT Potter's not going to make it, which I think all of us kind of thought he wasn't going to make it. 61 yards, I think was the count. I thought it was going to get recovered, caught, and then returned, kind of like a punt. I did not expect a blocked punt and then a return, scoop, and score. But either way, it was a little bit ridiculous. Unfortunately, though, if you take that away, that makes Miami look even worse, which is kind of bad for the Hurricanes. They are not back, that's for sure. And Clemson has really shown they have the number of the Miami Hurricanes. And you got to be careful if you're a Miami fan. Anytime you play Clemson, you might lose a coach or two. So just got to be careful there. That happens to a couple of teams around the southeastern part of the country. If you get beat up by Clemson a lot, might need some changes going on, but won't say anything there. Won't wish any bad luck on any of those coaches there. But, Al Golden, I believe, is that right? He got destroyed by the Tigers and then just saw his way out and, hung his tie up. But let's go to offensive grade and defensive grade. For me, offense and defense. Offense first. 550 yards, 38 minutes, 23 seconds time of possession. ETN alone did better than the entire Miami Hurricane team as far as total yards. He had 222 yards. They had, I think, 210. So give me an A for the offense. And on defense, really a top 10 matchup. Well, I try to avoid saying a top 10 matchup in a season like this, but it is what it is. 9 total first downs. 9. The national average is 18. 9. Okay. And then 74 yards in the first half. Just complete and utter domination. Great to see the secondary flourish and become more mature and start to play together and start to play even more confident. Great to see a weak side linebacker that can hunt you down. Like chat saying, faster than Skalski. I agree. Spector is a unique diamond in the rough. Great pickup from the recruiting class there. Spector's doing awesome. Brazee, Tyler Davis, great job. Even a little bit of sprinkle of XT towards the end, which didn't really understand that at all. Why would you play somebody like that 3 minutes to go? Maybe he just needed to, get his blood flowing before going to bed. I don't know. But give me an A for both the offense and the defense.
Okay, I'll get to you in a minute. But so for now, offense, grade A. Okay, look, you really got to be picking to find some stuff to complain about here. I won't find anything to complain about, but I will say the only reason I didn't give an A+, they had a couple of bad snaps, too many 3rd and longs, which we, had last week. And, of course, the major drop by Ladson on a great bomb by Trevor Lawrence. Man, that was brutal to watch. Absolutely brutal. But, hey, look, other than that, man, it was fantastic. I mean, the Tigers had a great game. I gave them an A. Defensive grade, I gave him an A+. You don't find defensive games better than that. Every level was as solid as can be. I'm not going to go and repeat everything Morgan said because there's no need. Everybody played incredible. Now, I will tell Morgan he's crazy. Of course it was good to get XT in the game. What is wrong with you? What's wrong with XT being in the game? It's good to have him back. He was a starter. He was going to be a starter for us probably. And it's good to get his feet wet and kind of get him back on the field and back used to things. It was perfect to have him there for 3 snaps. I don't know what your problem is, Morgan, but shut it because you don't know what you're talking about. It was a good thing for him to be back in there, and it was good to see him.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm a little, I won't say harsher. I think I give the offense an A-, just because there's a few mistakes. I feel like there was a couple drives we left some points on the field every now and again. I feel like our 1st and 2nd down play calling was a little still vanilla. But once again, Travis Etienne and Trevor bailed Clemson out on the offensive side of the ball. Defense A+, they dominated. Nobody's talking about Kane Patterson's interception. Our 3rd strings were dominating. I would have loved to seen our 3rd string offense just punch one in there for the proverbial gun punch at the end of the game with 1 second left, just to get them riled up, get Miami riled up for the next time we see them. So I think overall great night. Overall team effort A for the Tigers.
It was nice to see the starters out there longer, even in a kind of even up by a couple touchdowns. They were out there. They were still grinding. Good to see them get the kind of the stat sheet up because we don't need a Matt Corral Heisman Trophy winner, okay? They talked about this in college football final. No, I swear to you, if an Ole Miss player gets a Heisman Trophy over Travis Etienne, I might just lose it. I might just lose it on that show. That previous show, I am going to lose it. Okay? So, no. Don't even put that out there in the atmosphere. Yes, he's racking up a ton of yards. But again, we go back to the Lamar Jackson syndrome. You're racking up a ton of yards and you're losing games. So stop it. Stop it. Okay? That's my rant. But, that kind of wraps up Miami Clemson. Let's look in the chat real quick, see if we see anything interesting talking about Miami Clemson. Carson gets in and says that he doesn't understand why Cornell Powell is still starting and still seems like he's, not performing well, and Ngata's not ready to go yet. Maybe Ngata will jump him soon. I'm assuming that would be the case, eventually, that you want your guys to eventually, your younger guys to take over from the older guys, right? I mean, you want them to kind of pass on the torch. Cornell Powell has definitely been there for the team, been consistent, and I really can't say I've even. That's the thing. I really can't say what he's done helpful or hurtful to the team. So at least he's not hurting the team by dropping a bunch of passes when he shouldn't. But I really can't see him, moving the ball further along either, as much as, kind of a starting outside wide receiver would expect in that sense. So I can understand where you're coming from there. Al, what you got anything on your end?
Yeah, we got a bunch of people getting in. Let's see. Al got in and said the wind was behind him. What are the odds of what happened? He was talking to about the field goal, and he's right. Look, and make no mistake about it, BT Potter's got the leg to hit a 61-yarder. It was just at the time it seemed like the game was over. The game was over. The only thing that could possibly get them back into the game at that point is something like what happened. And that's why I wasn't for that call before it happened. I was hoping they'd just chuck it up in the air, try to make a play. They're not scoring on an interception on a Hail Mary in all likelihood. And heck, I mean, in all likelihood, they weren't scoring the way they scored, but it happened. It's crazy. It was just kind of unfortunate. But yeah, I understand where Al's coming from there. For sure. And I mean, got a lot of good comments in here. And Hart Vaughn's getting in and talking about the athleticism of Booth. It's insane. Told him how special these cornerbacks were. So, and Hart also gets in and says Powell's earned the spot by the time he's put in. He needs to have it or it take, which it will, but he's earned that spot. I truly believe he's done a decent job, but he's not been the guy we expected him to be, no doubt about it. And I fully expect a healthy Ngata to take that position before season's end if he can stay healthy and get healthy.
I agree on that one. I think Cornell Powell has done a decent job. Nice couple catches that he's had in each of these games that we've had thus far. But I think if Dabo keeps saying what he's saying about Joseph Ngata, it's just a matter of time if he stays healthy.